Okay, Battle Bards, Fatalis has been available for a little bit over a week now, and thank you guys so much for those of you who watched and liked and commented and all that on my pre-Fatalis guide. Sorry this one took a little while to come out with, but to be honest with you, I didn't feel comfortable releasing a video on a monster I was still having trouble with, and therefore was only rocking one piece of gear for the first couple of days he was out, cause,
Fuck.
Ah, they hit me! Oh god, 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 oh god. I thought I was gonna make that.
yeah, he was kind of an asshole to fight, and we had a lot of trouble in the shield wall, getting our kills, but we're starting to get the hang of it now, and I wanted to share with you which of the pre-Fatalis guide builds I had the most success with, and a little bit of progression for you guys into the awesomeness that is Fatalis gear. So let's get into it. And I know there's a lot of other really great content creators that have already made Fatalis guides, but if you would like a support perspective on the situation, I'll be happy to make a video for you guys. I'm kind of already in the process of editing a rough draft for one anyway, so let me know in the comments if you guys would like it to be released. But I do just want to say one thing that I don't think I stressed enough in previous support guides. If you do not have great sushi scales, go farm them now. Go download mods to buy them. Do not buy your monster bits. That's cheating. We don't condone cheating here. But go farm them. Go buy them through whatever shop mod you want. I don't care. You need them. Your friends will thank you. You'll thank yourself. And you'll be a lot less bald in the end. I digress. Here is the build that got me my first Fatalis kill. We have the QR Pipe Dragon with 4-piece Kulf Taroth running the Alpha chest and arms. You guys are more than familiar with the 4-piece KT set by this point. And the Frostfang Coiled Beta from our good friend Barry, giving us plenty of decoration slots to throw this build together. We're sitting at 741 effective raw, 166 effective element, which is really good on that Fatalis head, giving us some juicy dragon element crits. And then I ran Temporal and Rocksteady because, let's face it, your boy was tired of dying, so I went for the comfy set, maintenance decorations in there as well, to keep them up and active as much as humanly possible. And to be honest with you, this Hunting Horn fucking smacked. We had plenty of dragon element, I was getting some fat crits on Fatalis' head, and I underestimated the usefulness of Blight Negated, because a lot of the times when we were going down was from us being on fire and almost being one-shot, and then dying on our way and getting back up. Myself included, as you saw in earlier clips. One other trend I want to point out in this build that you will see in all of my other builds is the Shaver Jewel in the chest piece. If you don't have this decoration and you're trying to fight Fatalis, put this decoration in your gear like yesterday. Having those dragon pods to stagger Fatalis in the event of a fire breath or in the event of him charging at you, this thing saves lives. More so than the Great Sushi Fish scale in most of the hunts we went on. Now, if you're still having some difficulty in getting your first Fatalis kill, I'm going to have a super comfy build up on the screen here in just a moment. You lose out on about 20 effective element, but if you can keep peak performance active, you do get 752 effective raw, which isn't bad for Hunting Horn, as well as full health boost, and you still get to keep your single point of Part Breaker to help break the horns, which really helps out in Phase 3 because you're not having to heal through a bajillion fucking fire damage. And if you don't have QR Pipe Dragon and don't feel like taking a detour from your Fatalis farming to go and get it, here's a Safi Drakhorn build that's raw damage focused at 968, it's effective raw, a measly 20 effective element, but you get your attack melody 3 for a defense up extra large, attack up extra large. You know the drill by now. This build in particular might be better off for you guys that are normally hunting with your friends playing ranged, as ranged typically will take a little bit more damage than a melee character. Not optimal, not recommended, but here it is for you guys. Alright, so congratulations, you've gotten your very first Fatalis kill. Great, head right on over to Smithy, and I want to help you transition as smoothly and efficiently as possible from one meta support build into the next. I've already done the math for you guys, and by now I hope some of you have trusted me in my guidance here up to this point, and you guys are going to have the same reaction I did to seeing the 2-piece set bonus because, well, yeah, it's nuts. We finally get to replace the KT set as much as I've been in love with the golden dragon booty goddess herself. it's time to move on. We haven't had a single piece of armor that realistically gave us any beneficial improvement to support hunting in a long time, and well, Fatalis is just throwing everything out the front door. So if you can only craft one piece, get your Dragon Barbs, which is the waste beta. It's going to give us crit eye +2, and yes, that is 3 level 4 decoration slots, which we're just going to jam Heartbreaker in to keep that for more Fatalis hunting, and Dragon Attack +4s. We're sitting at 741, rounded up effective roll, and 173. Effective element, giving us a little bit extra Dragon Attack, always nice. Of course, you can always put more attack decorations in place of the Vitality if you would perform more damage, getting us 741 in effective roll, and 187 an effective element, maxing out our Dragon Attack. And as you can see, I even managed to, without really any penalty at all, or rather minimal penalty, included all 3 points of health boost for those of you that gave me flack on my last video about not including it, even though I already stated blatantly it wasn't entirely necessary. But I don't want to spend too much time on this. This is meant to be a stepping stone, so moving forward, you can put attack decorations or max out your Dragon Attack, whatever the heck you want, I don't care. Because we're not going to keep this set for long. This is just to make the next couple of hunts easier to get the rest of the gear we need. Alright, so fair warning. You guys have already seen the Fatalis set. He's been available for a while. I'm putting this guide out to help people that are either just getting into supporting or haven't really quite figured out how to make the new gear from Fatalis work in a support hunting scenario. So, I just want to make the quick announcement that if you don't have optimal decorations, or even halfway decent decorations at this point, you're gonna need to go do some farming, some melding. Otherwise, these builds just fall apart, and for the most part, you'd be better off running the 2-piece sets that we're about to go over right now, rather than going for the 4-piece and putting smaller decorations in your 4+ slots and losing out on either a lot of damage or other utility skills. Side comment number 2, yes, I know there's 8 points of crit eye on this build. I didn't feel like putting Master's Charm 4 up, and we don't have 5 available on PC, and I didn't want to redo all of my build cards later. So, just to make a quick note, when you get Master's Charm 5, take 1 point of Expert out for attack, done. Additionally, I'm pretty sure most of you right now are like, but Pip, the Fatalis hunting horn has so much damage, you suck, why aren't we using that one? Okay, first off, accurate, sure, yeah, does more damage, but the song set isn't really all that beneficial in helping our homies out and keeping ourselves alive, because you only get attack up extra large and knockbacks negated, which granted, knockbacks negated would really help out when you get your KOs on Fatalis and everybody's trying to stack up on the head to break the horns, but there is just way too little optimal sharpness, as well as that negative affinity. My goodness, we are gonna have to do something crazy with the 4-piece set just to counteract that and still hit 100% crit after the fact. Not to mention, again, we are staying focused on Dragon Element builds specifically right now, as in my testing, that is what's been most forgiving and most optimal in terms of hunting horn, at the very least, fighting Fatalis. Now, if you don't like that, and you'd prefer to just go full damage, you know, big dick DPS, okay, sure, fine. Why are you watching a support guide? But if you would prefer a raw damage build, or if you've already gotten a couple Fatalis kills and you just want the endgame build, I'll put the timestamp down below. You can skip to it. I'm gonna do you this one solid favor, but you fucking owe me. You owe me a like, you owe me a subscribe, which is free by the way, and you owe me a comment down below telling me what your Palico's name is and what your favorite color is. Oh, okay, I have all the sweaty tryhards gone. Okay, perfect. We can move on to the 2-piece builds now, guys. Sorry about that. I just wanted to get them out of the way here before they, started mucking up the place. Okay, now we're gonna get to the fun stuff, because we're gonna unlock that 2-piece inheritance set bonus from the Fatalis, unlocking all armor skills, allowing us to start cutting back on our Kulv Taroth armor pieces, as we no longer need that 4-piece set bonus thanks to Fatalis, also giving us free meal secret. So we're gonna grab the Dragon Hide Chest beta, giving us weakness exploit and a point of evade window, getting closer and closer to, as my buddy Comrade would say, the Dark Souls build, and finishing off the build with the Kulv Taroth head and legs beta and the arms alpha, because well, it's still just way too efficient for support. And thanks to the extra tier 4 slots the Fatalis set gives us, we do have a single point of health boost with that Destroyer Vitality deco in our waist. Now that can be swapped out for Shaver, as this is one of the few builds I wasn't really able to squeeze it in order to maximize our decoration slot efficiency. But if you find that you need more dragon pods during the Fatalis hunt, or just more pods for flint shotting in general, especially for solo play, you can swap out Partbreaker for it. Or if you have a Tenderizer Vitality, you can run run that in place of the Destroyer Vitality and put your Shaver Jewel in the tier 3 slot we have in our arms. And then of course maximizing our dragon attack, we're sitting at 767 effective roll and 188 effective element. And if you're the type that wants to be extra comfy, you can swap out the 2 dragon plus 4 decorations for Heartbreaker and Vitality if you would like, or if you and the homies are having a hard time breaking Fatalis' horns. And if you wanted to make this build a little bit more universally applicable, you can swap out 2 of your dragon plus 4 decorations for 2 attack plus 4s. Now, an alternative build to using QR Pipe Dragon is a Latrian Revival. I'm not personally a huge fan of this, as it is Agitator dependent, but if you're pretty good at keeping Agitator active and keeping Fatalis or any other monster pissed off, feel free to use this build instead. We're sitting at 850 effective Raw and 165 effective element. Thus technically making this build a bit more efficient, providing that you can keep the monster enraged. I prefer the consistency of critical element and just the static 10% affinity found on the QR hunting horn, as well as the critical element. And of course, here's a Sappy Shatterhorn build for those of you that are just going to go full raw damage focused. I am still keeping the health augment in the weapon, mind you, for pretty much all of the builds, just because it's a little too good at keeping yourself stable, especially when you're doing double notes and ground spin attacks and spamming echo waves. And I do have a Sharpness Awakening on my Sappy Shatterhorn just to keep the 90 hits of white sharpness there, to keep it relatively competitive with the previous build. If you really want to squeeze absolutely every ounce of damage out, you can run full attack awakenings with attack melody 3 and exchange your challenger decoration in your arms for a protective polish jewel, and then also remove your health augment for a second attack augment, hitting 1087 effective raw. This is sweet, but remember, you're a support and you are no good to the team if you're dead. But if you're good at dodging the monster, or if you're just a psychopath, you can take that route. Now, for those of you that have made it this long into the video, because I know my viewer retention's a little bit low and I understand I make long form content, I appreciate you guys for being here. I'm not going to beg you guys to like, subscribe, click the bell notification, leave a comment, all that happy horseshit. I am gonna just say thank you very much to the Monster Hunter community, to everybody here on YouTube that's given me a warm welcome thus far, and to those of you that have just met me, thank you for watching the video. And I just want to say, a lot of people really kind of question playing wide range and doing this whole support hunting thing, saying, oh, we'll just get good scrub and you won't have to get a healer. If you guys check out some of my speedrunning content, you can see that I don't typically just rely on a squad of 3 palicos essentially to get my monster kills. I'm very capable of killing monsters myself in a reasonable time frame, but I much prefer consistent results when I'm hunting with friends and just making our survivability in general a little bit more likely, and turning what most people perceive as one-shot mechanics into, well, okay, that was a panic moment for a sec, and everybody's good now. And also, still to this day, we're getting new hunters playing World, especially on PC, which if you play on PC, let me know in the comments and we could totally hunt together sometime. I think that'd be super dope. And I just enjoy having people focus on learning their weapons, learning the different monster mechanics, instead of constantly running in fear of, oh my god, I'm gonna die at any second if I let this thing touch me. Monster Hunter is a video game after all, and we're here to have fun, and I've noticed that pretty much everybody I play with has a lot more fun when I'm supporting. So that's just how I like to play, and I'm hoping since you've gotten this far into the video, you guys like that too. And this in no way, shape, or form will be my last support guide video. I will just say I'm a bit saddened by the fact that we're not getting a new PC title for the foreseeable future for Monster Hunter, and that we've kind of gotten the last bit of content already dropped, with the exception of the Fright Fest and other probably random event quests tossed in throughout the rest of the year. And I'm also very sad that I never really got to put out the other support guides that I really wanted to, learning the other weapons and such. This has just been a time-consuming and passionate project of mine, but I do intend on at least giving you guys the endgame builds for pretty much every weapon that I can get my hands on, and learn to play with some reasonable proficiency to properly test the builds for you guys. I definitely still intend to continue hunting on PC because, well, I still enjoy it, I still have fun with it. I'm hoping if you guys are new to Monster Hunter that you come check out my channel on Twitch sometime, but for those of you that are burnt out on the game and are deciding that it's time to take a break until Monster Hunter Rise, thank you, and it's been a blast. And without further delay, let's go ahead and start breaking down the endgame builds. So to kick this build off, we're going to be using the Fatalis Menace Whaler because, well, like pretty much any other weapon right now, Fatalis is king for raw damage. We do have to switch out our augments a bit, using an affinity health and element augment to balance out the negative affinity and still get a little bit more damage. You can swap out the health augment for attack if you'd like, but everything that I'm about to show is going to be with the health augment in particular, as that's how I play. And now, of course, we are using 4-piece Fatalis, unlocking the Transcendence armor bonus, which gives us razor sharp, as well as maximum health and stamina on a hunt, so no more bitching about not having health boost. Now, this build is fairly flexible, but we're going to start off with the Dragon Head, Hide and Claws beta, the Dragon Barbs alpha, and the Kulve Taroth's Wrath beta. Yes, KT's still in there. And as far as the decoration slots are concerned, you can really play around with this quite a bit depending on how your decorations are looking. For me in particular, it was a pain in the royal ass to get Gobbler Handicraft jewels, but that little bit of extra handicraft combined with True Razor Sharp really made this build top notch for me personally. As you can see, we do have an extra tier 1 decoration slot. If you want to put in Shaver or Part Breaker or anything of that sort, you can take out one of your attack +4 decos, put an attack jewel in that tier 1 slot, and then slot Shaver or Part Breaker into that now free tier 4. Or you can just run shit like that in your mantles, and with that tier 1 slot, just gem in a dragon jewel for a little bit more dragon damage on the measly 20 effective element we have on this build. Outside of that, I got nothing. Dude, it's a tier 1 slot. Run a point of Mushroomancer in there for all I care. We can't put Peak Performance or Coalescence in here, so this is the most damage I've managed to squeeze out of this particular Hunting Horn and build. Sitting at 1,177 effective raw damage. This is absolutely absurd. But as I alluded to earlier, I'm not the hugest fan of the song set in particular. I like having at least 1 or 2 songs that provide defensive buffs for my team and a little bit of offense mixed in. I like a good balance. The Sapphy Horns were absolutely pristine. The Elatrian and Kiar Dragon Horns are absolutely fantastic as well. You could very well just grab one of those and throw them in this build, but I'm going to show you dedicated builds for those particular horns in just a moment. But this here is the optimal highest raw big dick damage hunting horn build that you can possibly squeeze out of the game, with the exception of tossing in some AT Velkhana gear. I'll show you how to do that once I get this video out, because it's been taking a century to do it. Also, as I kind of mentioned earlier, if you don't have exactly these tier 4 decorations, but you have other combo decos, just make sure that you hit all of these skill points and you will work out with the same exact build as me. You could do attack +4s, you could do expert +4s, you could do handicraft +4s and then just fill the rest in. You could use an agitator charm and then put friendship deco slots in the armor if you have better friendship combo decos. The possibilities are limitless. But nevertheless, however you acquire it in your decoration slots, this is the most efficient combination of skills that I was managing to put together to give us the maximum throughput on damage while also keeping wide range 5, free meal 3, and speed eating 3. As you know, those are the requirements for a support set. Now, unfortunately, as you can see, this build isn't entirely flexible, because if we want to fit Part Breaker or any other utility skills in here, we're usually going to have to sacrifice 3 points of attack boost by removing our attack +4s and moving an attack deco into that empty free tier 1 slot. If we need to run things like Part Breaker, or for some reason Mushroomancer, if you're into that sort of thing. But the focus of this build is damage, not utility. Alright gang, I have 2 more endgame builds to show you that are elemental focused specifically, if you feel so inclined or if your hunt calls for it. The first of which is revolving around the Elatrian Revival, so no critical element here, but we are using the Fatalis head, chest, and arms beta, as well as the Dragon Barbs alpha to give us that crit eye and weakness exploit to handle a good chunk of our crit. Then we have the Escadora Pants alpha to give us 4 points of dragon attack, making it very easy to max out the rest of it with dragon attack jewel 1s in our waist piece, and then we slot the rest in with our typical support, either attack or crit decorations. Also, best of luck to you in finding that friendship attack jewel that we have in the chest piece there, because man, was it a pain in the ass to get for me. And between the defense boost given by the Escadora leg piece, giving us 3 points of defense boost, combined with the 4-piece Fatalis buff, not only do we have an absolutely absurd amount of tanky survivability, but we are sitting at 864 effective raw and 165 effective element, on top of the dumbest amount of sharpness I have ever encountered in a build. Half the time I forget when the last time I sharpened is using the set. However, if we're focused primarily on elemental damage, this isn't the most optimal, so we're gonna bring in our old friend Safi here, as well as KT is going to make a guest appearance in the final endgame elemental build for this video, using the QR Pipe Dragon and 3-piece Safi Jiva. So of course we're going to keep that health augment on our weapon as well to help stabilize from the Dragon Vein Awakening. And we've also got a little bit of extra raw in the assistance of the resentment that goes in our arms and waist to give us a little bit more raw. Now we drop a bit on the effective raw, going down to 776 compared to the Elatrian Revival, but we jump up to a staggering 201 effective element. And with this being your typical elemental affair, running Safi Jiva and whatnot, all you really have to do to change your element is pick up a different QR Pipe, Hunting Horn, and change out your elemental attack +4 decorations, and you're good to go for ice, thunder, fire, whatever the situation may call for. Of course, that changes your song setup a little bit, but we're going to stay focused on Dragon, as that's the most applicable at this time in current endgame. And yes, I did intentionally leave a tier 3 deco slot empty instead of putting an extra point of resentment in for more raw damage, because I wanted a flex slot available for Part Breaker or Shaver, as mentioned in previous build cards. So since some of the introductory and segue sets into our final endgame builds didn't exactly have a whole lot of flexibility or sacrifice damage, I wanted to show you guys what I run personally at this point in time in current endgame, and depending on what the hunt calls for, I like having that empty decoration slot to slot in whatever I need at that point in time depending on what we're hunting. And well, that's it for the Fatalis Support Hunting Horn Guide. I will try to make the next couple of releases much more quickly and much more frequent for you guys. Now that I have this one done, it can be used as a template for many of the other weapons that I plan to release guide videos for, as well as the AT Velkhana guides. Thank you guys so much for your patience and continued support. I just ask that if you check out all of my links down below in the video description, so you can check out how to support me in my future endeavors in producing more content for you guys, and I really hope you've enjoyed this video. Again, really sorry this video took so long to get out. Life's been kind of crazy lately, but I hope it's certainly been worth the wait, and I will leave you guys with the reaction to my first Fatalis kill. And of course, my Vikings, may the gods be with you all, and happy hunting. Skål.
Woo! Ooh. Oh. Happy f***ing birthday to me.
Skjægel! Skjægel!